shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. I think we got a new record on comments in the 1 minute intro. 24 came in. That's awesome, guys. Thank y'all for being out there and for sharing some of your weekend with us. Yeah, we'll call all y'all's names out here in a minute. CW, how was your week?
Oh, we had a good one. We had some really dandy weather too. It was in the 40s for January. I got to the range about 3 times. Got some work done in the yard. Got some work done in the garage. I was casting twice. So really, it was a good week. Went by lickety split too. Crazy. Bama, how was your week?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me. I'd say pretty good. Just still trying to get over whatever's I've got going on. But sorted some lead the other day. That's about all I've done towards shooting. Wore out about 4 or 5 pairs of rubber gloves because I'm not in the mood for touching it right now. I don't know why I got the heebie-jeebies about handling lead. So I just went through the rubber gloves and sorted out the steel weights and the other stuff from the lead and got it ready to smelt down, make some ingots. But other than that, I hadn't done a whole lot of nothing else. Kyle?
How's it going, everybody? Good to see everybody in the side chat. Everybody's popping around and doing what y'all do, and that's why we love y'all. Just another wonderful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mother Nature's throwing out temperatures like lottery numbers. You know, here's a 68, try 18.
Yeah.
This is what we call in Georgia pneumonia weather. But one day it'll be 68 degrees, the next day the high is 32, and you hit your high of the day at midnight. It just goes downhill from there. I'm just same old stuff. I'm just trying to stay healthy.
Welcome to Southeast United States.
Yeah. Who's
Well,
next?
let me interrupt you for a second, please, sir. Thorzax is watching out there. I'll get with you just a second, Walter. But I want to ask for prayers for Dave Thorzax. He's not doing well. He's in a hospital right now, so
Oh goodness.
I'll share more as myself and Dave feels more comfortable with sharing what's going on. But right now, we just we covet your prayers for Dave in a big time way, and Miss Kitty's out there. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Walter's gone again. He's having audio things.
No.
He says he's hearing a echo. So anyway, let's all pray for Dave and get him back on the straight and narrow. Yeah. Dave says it's all God or all good. I don't know what that means. Anyway, Rebel, how was your week, dude?
Well, so on business. Things slowed down a little bit. They're going to pick up. People are anticipating good tax returns. So we'll see how that works out for leading up to our groundhog shoot, and which is in April. Any of y'all that are able, I know it's a long trip, but you'll see a truck that's worth about $2,000 pull up, and there's a $7,000 rifle that comes out of it. these guys have their priorities, right? You know. Anyway, Dave, I'm praying for you. I want y'all all to say a prayer for my mentor Bob, which couldn't be at our shoot in when y'all were down here. Y'all would have loved him. I would have loved him to have been there, but he was looking after his wife, who's had a couple of strokes and a couple of falls and broke bones and had surgeries. And Bob had a stroke last week while he was driving with his wife in the car. Fortunately, he was in town and the speed limit was low. He hit a light pole. His wife got injured, and Bob's lost the use of his right leg. It was on the left side of his brain. Don't know about his arm. I've talked to his son. Bob's being very belligerent in the hospital, which I would expect him to be. I love me some Bob, and Bob's just like, take me home. I need to look after Ma. Him and Ma have been married for about 55 years. So he's looking at, he doesn't know his leg don't work because he's laid down on a hospital table. He didn't really know what's happened to him. He's going to end up doing rehab. It's going to be a long road back to recovery. Bob's 80 years old. I know y'all don't know him, but y'all would love him if you met him. He was my mentor. I thought I knew how to shoot until I met Bob. And then Bob taught me a lot. Makes me tear up even talking about it, but just a good man, really good Christian man. And just say a little prayer for Bob. You don't have to know his last name. You don't have to know who he is. But Dave and Bob, remember them in your prayers.
Absolutely. Mr. Walter, how was your week?
Walter's still having audio problems.
I hope not.
Lord have mercy.
There he comes. Look like he's back. At least he's unmuted.
No, he's unmuted, but we don't hear no sound.
Oh, no.
Is unmuted actually a word?
He's live and loud. He's just not loud.
Right.
Come on, Walter, you can do it. Anyway, there's something I need to take care of. Last week we were talking about 44, and I didn't find these pictures until after we got off of the air. Or should I wait till he gets in the side chat? I probably should. Anyway, we got some really, really cool 44 revolvers to show y'all.
He's over there. He's in the side chat. Go ahead.
Edward Petty is?
No. No.
Walter.
Talking about Walter.
Well, let's wait for Edward to get in here. Amen, towards that. All right. Tonight, we want to
I'm getting double audio feed,
Well,
and it's coming out of my set. My my headset and the computer are both talking, and one of them
Oh.
needs to shut up.
No, you sound okay.
You sound great, man.
I think he's getting some of the newscaster ear where you can't really talk because you keep hearing yourself over and over.
Yeah.
So it makes you it makes you want to talk like it.
Stop it, Kyle. Stop it.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
I'm
good
sort of
idea.
here,
Glenn
but I've got
Davis
about a
said,
5-second delay, so I'm hearing everybody twice.
Glenn Davis said unplug the computer speakers.
It's not the speakers; it's the computer mic won't stop listening to me, I think.
Can you turn it off?
I might, maybe I'll do that shutdown. I'll shut down, reboot, and come back. I'll be back in a minute.
Walter, wait a minute.
Okay.
Right down there at the bottom, you see the little gear on the screen? Do you see a gear at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, he's done found it.
Yeah, I know about the settings and stuff down there on the little computer gear and stuff. It's just
Click on audio.
it might be this thing. That's it.
Good. Good. Fantastic.
All right. I'm going to reboot my computer. I'll try again in a few minutes.
Cool, man.
For those of you that don't know, Walter's our sage.
Hey, garage guy, what's up, buddy? Okay. Have we seen Edward Petty yet?
I haven't noticed them.
Are you out there, Edward?
Bueller. That's what I love about hanging out with you guys. Y'all get that. Y'all understand what that meant.
Yeah. Well, my son is introducing his wife to the Westerns he grew up on, which are the Westerns I introduced him to. And so now she's walking around the house looking at him and going, Don ain't much of a living boy. Buzz's got to eat same as worms. And she doesn't understand the concept that Rio Bravo and El Dorado were the same movie 30 years apart.
Right.
She said, how did they pull that off? And Nolan said, I don't know, but they did. He said, the only thing that stayed consistent is one main actor. But 30 years apart, I mean, a good script's a good script. Why not do it again? You know? She said, that'd never be done today. And I was like, you're right.
Well, nothing new will ever be done today because why do we have Spider-Man 18 now? I mean, come up with something.
I mean, come on. Maverick was obviously better than Top Gun.
It was that's one of my favorite movies now.
I love Maverick. I love it. I absolutely love it. We went and saw it in the theaters. My daughter sat next to me. She said, Pop, you were pulling G's. She said, I felt you. You were going, ugh, like that when they were going through the canyon. And
It was a great movie.
I was like, yeah, well, Top Gun was something you played, you know, when you were making out with a girl or something. You know, it was a lot of girly stuff and not too much. I said, this was more military, you know, it was more realistic. And I really liked it. I really liked that remake, that too. I especially like the first of it with the spy plane. When he comes back to Earth, and he walks into the little breakfast diner in Tennessee, and he goes, where am I? And the little boy looks at him and goes, Earth. I love that part.
Do we have Walter now?
I think so.
Yes,
Walter has landed.
Yeah, where am I?
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah, welcome to Earth.
Sorry, guys.
I said we can't go far. It's hard to go far without our sage. How was your week? As Jamie said,
my week was really good. The weather here, we had like a little mini heat wave Wednesday. It was 80 degrees here, 6 miles off the coast of the Pacific Ocean. Last week it rained like crazy. I didn't get to go shooting last week because the rain's all muddy and wet and cold and ugly, and so I went twice this week, and both days were absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to do some video here pretty soon about the drive up along the mountain crest. It's up at about 4,000 feet along this ridge, and this overlooks the Pacific Ocean. And there's a reason they call it the Pacific Ocean, man. It was just gorgeous. Anyway, so I got some fun shooting done. I got some bullet casting done. I got some reloading done. Got to spend a couple good days with my lady friend, and so it didn't get any better. It was just perfect.
Good for you, brother. Good for you.
Every step I took, I was giving thanks. I said, "What did I do to deserve this?" And he looked down at me and he said, "Nothing." I was giving it to the person next to you.
It is a Pacific Ocean. It's that particular one, right?
Yep.
As opposed to the Atlantic, which goes
wild
on.
and woolly.
Yeah. Anyway, we apologize for the movie review. I'm glad we got Walter straightened out. Tonight's topic is straight wall hunting cartridges. And I wanted to show some more 44 revolvers that belong to Edward Petty, but he ain't here. And I think I'm going to show them anyway because I think for a lot of us, straight wall hunting cartridges are. Walter, you're gonna have to tell me about that 3855, brother. I think 44 probably is the first one we think of. 44 and 45, the 454 Casull, and then we get up into the more of the Bull's crazy about that 50 Alaska, and I can't wait to go over there and shoot with him. He ain't about 30 miles away. And
I think that's the ones they forget about more than remember, actually. It's like, because they've been around the longest, but everybody thinks about 350 Legend, straight wall. They think immediately 350 Legend or 450 Bushmaster, because those were really the first ones that were labeled as such. But the 44 Magnum fits the criteria. The 57 Magnum fits the criteria. The Maxi fits the criteria. The 41 Magnum, or Casull, they all fit the criteria. Under some states under 1.8 inches, and then straight or parallel walls, because obviously some of these are tapered. That doesn't make a difference. It's just parallel walls.
Well, think about this, y'all. When we did those history series on the lever actions and stuff, most of those cartridges were developed for the 92, the lever action rifles. Most of what we think of as revolver rounds today started life as straight wall rifle cartridges. Right, Walter?
Well, I mean, the greatest revolver cartridge ever invented, the 45 Colt, It started off as a revolver round.
Yep.
And then that grew into 454 and so forth. But yeah, you're right, Jamie.
That one did, yeah. But when I think about 45 Colt, I think is probably the exception.
Yeah, agreed.
What do you got there, Rebel?
You know what that is, CW.
That's
got my
looking like
screen.
4570 from here.
I got my
but,
screen tiny, so I can't. Oh yeah, 4570. Yep, that's a good one, like in Ohio, but some states that won't qualify because it's too long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't hunt no Ohio.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's a clip I picked out for y'all. I can find it. Here it is. Okay, bear with me for a second.
Do that voodoo that you do so well.
Hello, Curtis.
Coitus is
I
here
can't
himself.
do like I wanted it to. Hold on.
Yeah, FUD.
Illinois, Ohio, states like that. Now you can shoot a straight wall cartridge. Ballistically, there are some advantages, especially if you're going to shoot out to 200 yards. These are not meant to be 300 or 400 yard cartridges. And you do have a little bit of reduction in recoil, mainly because the bullet weighs less. So in the 400, this weighs 215 grains. Right here in the Remington AccuTip, this weighs 260 grains. So automatically, you're going to have more recoil in the 20 gauge slug versus this 400 Legend. Now, you have 350 Legend, 360 Buckhammer, 400 Legend, you have 4570. So there's a lot of variation in straight wall cartridges. The 400 Legend is getting all the attention right now. It's kind of that hybrid round of good velocity, good accuracy, long range performance, not a lot of recoil. So 4570, heavier on the recoil, definitely better on kinetic energy. 350 Legend, more on lower recoil, easier to handle, superiorly accurate, but probably not something you're going to shoot at the longer ranges. Typically, you're going to have better accuracy in a straight wall cartridge than a slug gun. But a lot of that is slug dependent and gun dependent. So you find the right combination, you can shoot some superior groups out to 200 yards with a slug gun, but typically not as easy as you can with a straight wall cartridge. Another big factor is price. One box of slugs. Okay, now these are premier slugs, top of the line. Obviously, there's some slugs at better price point. Is the same price as 20 rounds of these Winchester power points here. 5 shots versus 20 shots. So economically, there's a big difference. Now, some state laws, let's say Illinois, if you use a straight wall cartridge, you have to use a single shot rifle like the Encore. So you don't have a follow-up shot. Whereas if you do shoot a 12 or 20 gauge slug, you do have extra shots, extra firepower. You're doing a deer drive or what have you. You have the ability of a quick follow-up shot. So there's a lot of things that go in the choice between the two. But have you ever wondered exactly what the bullet looks like inside the slug? Let's go ahead and cut this open and show you the difference in the projectiles before we get to shooting. In a 400 Legend or straight wall cartridge, you're driving off the bullet itself. So when the cartridge leaves the casing, it's engaging in the rifling itself as opposed to a piece of plastic. So this is what you have. So this is your sabot, just like a muzzleloader would have a sabot, obviously. So when this comes out the bore, these petals flare like this. Okay, and then there's your projectile. So when this comes out, the bullet separates. So this is what drives down your bore. So the plastic grabs a hold of the bullet like this, and then obviously it rotates down the bore. So these tolerances are super critical, and that's why the harmonics of the barrel, the size of the chamber, all affect the accuracy, because you're not driving off of the actual bullet itself. You're not driving off of that copper core right there. So there is your difference in projectile. So we'll go ahead and shoot a couple shots at 100 yards.
What do you think? Interested?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. What it boils down to is what's readily available in your area, and what you have the capacity to shoot.
Yeah. I have the 350 in an AR platform, and I got that thing tuned in pretty good. I hope. I just need to. I need to work up a faster load. I need more velocity out of it. What? I know CW is a big fan of the 400, and this guy, the guy y'all saw on the video clip right there, I'm almost positive that he is the new owner of Thompson Center Arms.
Greg Ritz, yeah, he is.
Yep.
Seems like a good guy.
Well, he was the original owner of, not the original, but he was the past owner of Thompson Center. He bought it back. So,
So he owned it before he sold it to Smith and Wesson.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was on a lot of hunting shows. But yeah, he is a good guy.
I'm really liking those Encore Pro hunters.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
One thing I meant to mention to y'all is, do y'all know E. Arthur Brown Company?
Yeah. They make barrels for contenders and such.
Well, they're a dealer. They're also a Arkin dealer, but right now they've got a SHOT Show special. SHOT Show starts this week, by the way. I think they have their range day on Wednesday, and the place opens up on Thursday. So brace yourself for a ton of content coming from the gun world, from SHOT Show and what's new. But E. Arthur Brown has a deal right now where if you buy one of those frames, you can buy a Thompson Center gun case for $20. That's right, Rebel. You can run. I'm at Bull. You can run the power up till you can't stand the recoil no more. Curtis is out there. William C. Chapin. I got word from a birdie that your brother wrote a book. Well, he's not really a birdie.
Well, there's not a bogey.
So tell us about, Walter, if you can, or CW, whoever. Y'all tell us about 3855.
3855 is the parent of the 3030. And 3030 is just a neck down 3855 cartridge.
Didn't 3855, wasn't it the darling of the shits and matches?
I believe so. It's been around a long time. The reason that I picked one up, I have a Henry in 3855, is that I have some old family memorabilia. There was a feller who worked for my brother-in-law's family, and he was an immigrant from Denmark, and they called him Daniel. That wasn't his real name, but he was kind of like me when I was his age. He worked on the ranch with my brother-in-law's dad, and he had a 1913 Harley Davidson. I got the bill of sale for that motorcycle that he bought in 1913, and he was a hunter and a caster and a reloader, and some of you may have seen that old ideal number 6 reloading tool that I've got in 3855. Well, that was Dan's reloading tool, and it had the bullet mold in the end, and it did all those other steps of reloading. And anyway, I have this picture of him with his 1913 Harley standing next to it with his 3855. And so I went out just a few years ago and did a short little video with my new Henry and my new BMW motorcycle in the same exact pose as him. And then that video got lost. It's one of the few that I lost forever when my last YouTube channel went down. I didn't keep a copy of it. I should go redo it. But anyway, it's kind of a neat cartridge. Yeah, there's a good picture of it. More or less a straight wall. I think it's a little narrower at the case mouth than it is at the base, and there's 2 different case sizes that are floating around out there. One's a little bit fatter than the other. I forget which is which, but anyway, shoots a 375, sized bullet, or more or less depending on your rifle.
377.
Yeah, depending on your rifle. Mine's at about 376, I think. But anyway,
Yeah, modern
fun.
ones, they run the 375 barrel because of the bullets.
Yeah,
But the old ones were 370. Well, they were all over the map, really. But
yeah,
they were
exactly.
379.
Yep, they could have been anywhere, and so it's kind of a fun one to load for. And I haven't shot mine in probably 5 years. I need to get after it. I've still got some cast bullets sitting on the shelf out there in the garage, all ready to go, saying, "Cast me, feed me, let's go." But the same way, if you hand load them, you don't have to shoot them full power. They're fun to go shoot at the range. People think you're shooting a 30-30 or something until you show it to them. What is that?
That is
9 or 10 grains of unique, and a 255 bullet was a 1,300 feet per second load that shot really, really well in mine.
Yeah, I think I was putting 10 grains of unique in mine, so it would probably go. I have to go look. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. It's been so long since I shot that gun.
The picture there says it was introduced in 1884.
Yeah, it was pretty popular, I guess. In that period from 1880s up to the early 1910s. I don't think it persisted much after that. I mean, there's still a few morons like me and CW that around that shoot them.
Well, if you watch Buffalo Boar, or you subscribe to Buffalo Boar here on YouTube,
Yeah,
he just did a really good video all on the 3855.
yeah, he did. I saw that one.
Yeah, showing rifles and of course talking his loads, but they're pretty good videos. I enjoy it. I enjoy them.
Yep, he had a half a dozen rifles laid out there on the table.
Yep. And offspring of that, modern offspring of that is the 375 Winchester, which is a slightly shortened version. It actually has a more robust case. It's the same shape externally as a 30-30 or a 38-55, but it's much thicker through the web because they run the pressures up over 50. And in the Winchester guns, they made the receiver a little bit thicker, and they called it a big bore. And in the Marlin was strong enough. They just put it in the 336, and it was okay. But the thicker brass helps with the back area there, and that would push a bullet a little bit faster. But if you watch that Buffalo Boar video, he loads them right up there to about the same pressures because in his theories it's proven just fine. And he's got a little bit of bullet design in there to overcome the problems with the diameters, like we said. Some of the barrels were up mid 380s, and some were down 377, 375. So it's all over the map for bores, and because there was no standards back then. So plus black powder, plus how they measured barrels with the bore or the inside the lands, and it got really thick. And then there was the squabbles with Winchester and Remington and Colts, and they wouldn't name each other's calibers, and they would. It got really, really silly. It got
a buddy of mine just bought a off of Gunbreaker. He bought a Chief Crazy Horse 3855.
I happen to have one that either somebody throated it or it was a good one because mine shot pretty good. It had a 380 or 381 bore, and I could fit those bullets in the gun. But that's one of the problems with some of the older ones. The barrels on the bigger barrels, the barrel would say 382 or 383, but the throat in the barrel couldn't chamber a bullet over 380.
Right, and he's going through that right now, and even though it's a modern gun, he said, I can't believe I'm having to do this. And I was like, well, it's an antique cartridge.
I had to throat my Marlin Cowboy, and that's a 90s gun. I had to throat that to make it work.
Well, I told him if he had any problems with his Winchester, I said, I've got people that can handle that. And I knew you knew some. I knew you knew somebody CW. So
anybody with any kind of handiness, if you can turn a wrench and change spark plugs in your car, you can throw to 33855. It's cake easy.
Right. And I said, I'll get you hooked up with the right people and whatever. But he's loading now. And
it'll take you longer to unbox the reamer you got to rent than it will to do the job.
Right.
Absolutely, it will.
But he's wanting to pig hunt with that thing, and I was like, that's cool. That's really cool.
If I can interject right here, we need to do some house cleaning here. Glenn Davis, I think, asked velocities. I'm showing 3 different loads. A 255 grain.
I get around 1450, 1500, I think is what I get.
One load is listed as 1,320 feet per second. Another one's listed at 1,693. And then we got another one with a jacketed bullet. I'm assuming that first one is a cast lead. Probably the first 2 are cast lead loads. And then the copper jacketed bullet is at 1,950 feet per second. But that's a 250 grain bullet.
Yeah.
At 1,950 feet per second, that's 2,153 foot-pounds of energy. And that's half again more than your 30-30.
Yeah, it's enough for sure.
It's enough.
Yeah, it's a good. It's got some really good numbers when you get up there with those approaching the 375 Winchester velocities, which is a little over 2,000. So yeah, that's tremendous.
Yeah, it was Glenn Davis. Okay, we got Hillbilly up joining us. How was your week, big man?
Man, it's been good. Cold the last few days, but good. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry about being late. Just a little right before the show started, some stray dogs showed up out there. Of course, our dogs are going crazy, and it wouldn't leave or anything. And I assume it belongs to somebody around here, so went out and took a picture and put it in the woodshed because wasn't going to leave, and it's supposed to get really cold tonight. And so I had to post that on Facebook, for people in this area. Hopefully somebody hollers because we dang sure don't need another dog, but it wasn't going anywhere. It just stayed out there. And so anyway, other than that, man, been having a good week so far. Just been a little chilly.
Yeah, it's been a weird week. We had warm weather, then cold weather. It was 17 this morning when I got in my car to go to work. And also, we are 10 minutes late to call out the nice folks in the side chat. So, what can we have them type in, Walter?
Well, I think we know what it is, don't we?
3855.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay, and they're off the page.
And they're off the page.
Way to go, guys. We love it. We love it. Apparently, Barnes made the original 3855 bullet. And
They just called it the original.
the original. Okay.
Yeah, it was a pure copper and pure lead projectile, and it really was a dandy of a bullet. It's a shame that they stopped doing them.
I know. Anyway, CW2A was first in. He's on the panel and the side chat. So is Kyle Lusk. So is Viejo Walter. Mike Hester, the Rebel, is also on the panel. Glenn Davis is out there. Bama Dad is on the panel and in the side chat. Bobby Barlow, GGW Outdoors, IWS Bull. Paul Loud, Vanessa Kitty, got a new house, huh? Dwayne 7834, Hillbilly Up has just joined us, and we're glad to have him. Ozzy Osborne, Fuzz T Fork 8 has to be different. Rollis Barbellis, William C. Chapin, 3855, but he has a 375 Winchester. Corners and Doors, been a while, man. Good to see you out there, dude. Hillbilly Ups out there. Walks Fletcher, Alaska One Andy, Casey Dolph, Tim S. Rollis seconds that.
45 long coat.
45
Yeah.
long coat.
I hear you, Rollis.
Fuzz says he had 9 degrees this morning. Okay, she's buying the home she's in. That's good. That's good. That's real good. Yeah, both of those interest me now. I'm like Bull earlier. Y'all gonna make me spend a lot of money. We talk about this old stuff, man.
Now, the 3855 is a real butt whooper. You know, it'll lay a deer in the shade for sure.
Yeah.
Talking about the weather, we've had all 4 seasons in the last week.
Well, that's actually a meme on Instagram about the South. You know, you want to move here? Well, we just had all 4 seasons last week. You know,
It ain't wrong.
that's right.
Have you seen the rash of videos about people that moved to the South?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
They don't like that they're going back.
Yeah.
Good.
I had a buddy.
CW, if you ever decide to sell a Marlin 3855, if I can afford it, I'd be interested.
I don't have one anymore. I had a Cowboy and I sold it with COVID when the COVID started.
I only had one at the shop, Jamie, and it was a 1906 with a factory Lyman Pete. Still had color case hardening in all the right places, but it was 2,500.
That's what it goes, man.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful gun. Beautiful
It
gun.
sounds like it was.
Yeah, I wish they bring that back, but I mean Ruger may bring it back, but they just started. I mean, they're still aflush with 30-30s and 44s and 357s and 45-70s, you know, so we'll see how that goes. I want to see the Marlin brand brought back to what it was, you know.
See, I feel like they've got this section, or they got this part of their factory, and they'll set up and run off some every once in a while. I don't
Yeah.
feel like it's an all day, every day thing that they're doing like it should be.
No, and then they've talked about the Glenfield brand, and that's just going to be the Ruger American Gen 1s.
I think
Yeah.
Marlin's still got a part of their factory set up that none of the newer people know how to run the machines. So they have to call in the people that have already retired because they're the only ones that know how to set everything up. That tends to happen in a lot of industries.
Well,
But,
that was
Keep the
true.
old retired people on standby, and they come in and work for 2 or 3 weeks, and they run a product, and then they go back into retirement, and then demand comes around, and they get a phone call. They come back in, set everything up, and I think
that might have been true with Remington when Remington owned Marlin, but Remington absolutely cheapened, or Freedom Group. I shouldn't blame it on Remington. Freedom Group actually cheapened the brand. They were making untimed, Parkerized 30-30s, and that rust when you look at them. And they abandoned everything in New Haven, Connecticut, and then they realized they had to call back some of those old machinists to figure out what they were doing wrong. I think Ruger, I don't know if Ruger's got anybody from the old Marlin plant making new lever actions, but I will say Ruger's doing it right. They're absolutely the tightest lever actions I've ever seen.
They are. Mine's gonna get some loosening up here soon. One of mine is.
A lot of people don't know that I've got an old Marlin 44 mag. Once those things got a little wear on them, they were a absolute bear to get fixed. There were at least 4 bolt carrier manufacturers that Marlin used, and if you didn't get that right bolt carrier spec, then the whole gun was out of time. I had a gunsmith who was retired from Beretta, who lives here close, try to work on an old 44 Marlin that had a timing issue, and he finally gave up on it. He said, I can't get the part to make it right. He was very frustrated with that rifle. And what would happen was you go to lever one in, they'd load another one, into the gate and lock the whole gun up. You'd have to take the gun apart to get that round out. It would just literally lock up the gun. But there was a lot of wear on the carrier. So be mindful when you go to purchase old Marlins on Gunbroker. People are asking stupid money for them, and if it's a 44 Magnum or a 357 or one of the shorter pistol cartridges, that could be what you inherit for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Feeding problems.
Well, the 44s had bore diameter problems. What they had bigger than the feeding issues, but they went through a time with rifling twist craziness, and they just silly problems they didn't need to have, but they sure did.
Yeah, they did. I have one shoots great. No obvious bore diameter problems. Feeding seems fine. Not a lot of shots through it, but it's a safe queen. It really is.
I got a couple of videos trying to make my buddy shoot that was from the end of the North Haven guns, just before they closed.
Yeah.
And I think I was up to a 335 bullet to make it shoot, and it didn't like to go into the chamber. But 434 still didn't shoot very well. I
Right.
needed a really, really, really fat bullet. So I really probably should have throated it, and I probably could have got halfway decent accuracy. But he traded it to the owner of the shop who knew about the problem and wanted it anyway. And he bought the same 454 Rossi that I did. And that shoots 2 inches at 100 yards with a peep sight. So
There you go.
Well, that brings us up to another straight wall cartridge that a lot of us probably forgot about, and it's not that old of a cartridge as far as I know. What do y'all know about 444 Marlin?
1964.
Yep.
It's basically a straight 3006 case.
It hurts.
Close with a rim.
Yeah.
It's a dandy of a cartridge.
I had one and put a Williams peep on it, and when I met Tread on obviously Georgia Shoot Connection and Reelers Network, me and Tread instantly became friends because he was South Carolina, I was North Carolina, and Tread had a 550 Dillon press with a lot of extras, and he said, "Hey, do you have I'll bring it at Dillon if you get me a 444." And I was like, "Well, surely I'll be able to find one." I have one, but I don't want to get rid of it. Well, Tread drives the 3 hours up here and helps me install the press, get it set up. And okay, I'm good looking for him 444. In the meantime, Marlin gets absorbed by Freedom Group and everything goes all to pieces. And a year goes by and I'm thinking, I'm sitting here using this press and Tread ain't got his 444 and I've got one that I ain't shot. So I called him up and said, just drive up here, eat a cheeseburger that's foreign to you. And
was that your 444?
Oh, that's my 44.
That's a good shooting rifle, sir. But it hurts.
I know. Yeah. That's my 444.
That's a great shooting rifle.
I'm telling you, it ain't like a 4570. 4570 gives you a big push like a shotgun.
Well, it's low pressure.
Yeah, a
444 is high pressure.
Yeah, it hurts your cheek. It really does. That's why I put the Williams peep sight on it.
I shot it 3 times, and he hands me a box of ammo. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had all 3 of the styles that Marlin made. The original one with the 24-inch barrel and the high comb cheek piece, and then they eliminated that high comb cheek piece and kept the 24-inch barrel, and then they shortened it down to 22, just like the 1895s, and then they came out with the S model with the safety in it. So there's actually four different Marlin 444s.
Yeah,
Winchester had one. Winchester brought the 94 out in 444.
You see, Side Chat, firearms bring the world together. We're now a closer family because I've shot the Rebels firearm.
That's right. You have. You have. And I mean, I considered it an even trade. He brought me a 550 press with extras and helped me set it up. And you know, okay, the Marlins are bringing more money now, but the Dillons are bringing more money now.
Yeah.
You know, so
what does the 550 go for now? Who's got a new Dillon catalog?
I think they're going for in the sixes.
Oh,
you know,
geez.
Yeah.
I paid $425 for mine.
Right. I mean, but I've got all the doohickeys that he brought me, and then there was a place going out of business, or excuse me, there was a hardware store in Charlotte that had a whole table of Dillon stuff, a hardware store now.
Welcome to the South.
Yeah, and they had it. We're divulging ourselves with Dillon stuff, and so I pretty much Trent, one of my business partners, he said, I got a Dillon 550. You want me to go down there and see what they got? I said, hell yeah. So he goes down there, and I didn't know what he was going to do. And Trent goes, how much for the whole table?
Sounds like me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Trent was a diesel mechanic at the time, and he got plenty of money. How much for the whole table? And the guy gave him a price. Trent just scooped it up, and he brought back tons of these large and small primer tubes, you know, for Dillon and this and that. And I told Tread, I said, sell these on eBay for me, and we'll split the money. And we do. I mean, me and Tread do deals like that all the time, and we're 3 hours apart. You know, I got powder that Tread bought from his powder supplier, and I've got T marked on the top of them, where me and him split the profit on stuff. You know, powder I can't get, powder maybe no, but I've got accurate. Is it accurate? TCM, and no one knows. Everybody looks at that powder and said, what is that? I said, it's really fast. And there's tons of load data for it, but nobody buys it. Mm-hmm. And I'm waiting for the next supposed shortage, and someone will pick it up. Some reloader will look at it and pick it up. You know,
yeah. You got a good press out of the deal, though, and that's.
Oh yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm getting ready to. I've used up all the 9mm stuff I could out of it. I'm getting ready to get an alarm on the small pistol primers. I'm getting ready to convert it to 45 long Colt. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
and the conversion, the caliber conversion is not that hard. You got one little set screw on the ram that you got to loosen up.
Just the primer is the worst part of it, and it's not that bad.
That. Yeah, the priming system is, and that takes you like 4 minutes to do.
Yeah,
that.
I was about to say it's right. 3 to 4 minutes, and that's the worst.
You just got to go buy another press like I did. I did the same thing. This guy shows up at the range, and he had a 550 and 2 square deal Bs and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he says, "Hey, Walt, says I know you got a 550, but I got this other one. You know, will you give me for this press?" And I said, "Well, what else you got in your trunk?" And he has all this other stuff. So I'll give you $400 for all of this stuff. So I got 2 square deal Bs in various stages of reconstruction.
Well, there
and
you
that
go.
550 that I was just gonna, when it's a 550B, and I was just gonna rebuild it because it was hurting and sell it. And it came out so good. I said, "No, I'm keeping this sucker. I'm gonna keep it."
Well,
one set up for large and one for small.
Yeah,
I did pick this up for cheap.
One of the finest powder measures made.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that on the Colt, but I use Unique for 9mm, and I use Unique for 45 Colt.
Yeah, and that powder measure will do the Unique. And if you go to making the different tool heads, there's a gadget, and I think I'll remember it before long, but that allows you to easily separate the top half of that powder measure and move it onto the
Yeah.
next tool head without having to do a whole bunch of screws and stuff. Makes it really
Right.
easy.
Yeah, you get them on eBay.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually,
Well,
It's
I
a little
figured out a way.
spring-loaded clamp that
Yep.
goes on there. They're
Yep.
they're handy in heck.
Yeah.
Because
I
otherwise,
love
those
the Dillon powder measures so much. I figured out a way to use them on my Lee Loadmasters.
there you
Well,
are.
I was griping about the little plastic piece on the powder thrower. So let me get my hand right.
The little safety thing.
The little wing nut thing down at the bottom.
No, it's the plastic piece up around. Let's see. Here.
Oh,
Oh,
the little square, the little
Yeah. So when I first got it from Tread, that thing was flexing out
Mhm.
because he converted it, and I was like, something's not working right, man. And I said, I'm gonna order this from Dillon, and I called Dillon, and they give me all this stuff for nothing.
Right.
oh yeah, they're great.
I couldn't believe it. Tread
They're
drove
really, really good.
Trev drove all the way up here and helped me set this thing up.
Yeah.
And
No, it's a marvelous press. I really,
Yeah,
you get your rhythm down. You can watch each stage individually compared to like the XL 750 where everything happens at once.
Well, that's
Right.
what did
Yeah.
you have, Walter? You had a 750 or a 650 that you sold?
I had the 750 and, with the case feeder and all of that. And I said, nah, it doesn't belong in this
yeah,
garage.
if
And
you
so I
talk
lateraled
to,
over to the 550s.
if you talk to a technician at Dillon, they'll admit to you, if you talk to a guy that knows what he's doing, they'll admit to you the 550 is the best press they've ever made in their life, in the history of Dillon. And
It's a good one.
but I'm bragging on Tread here, so I'm getting frustrated with this thing, and the arm of the thing is peeling out, and I'm not. It's not doing just right, and Tread drives 3.5 hours up here, and checks on me and says, let me help you. You got new pieces. Let me help you set this up. And we hang out all day, and he drinks moonshine, and I'm like, go easy, brother. You got to drive back home. I sent him home with a couple of quarts, and but I mean, that's what this neighborhood's all about. We're all buddies.
Mhm.
I wish I could do this with Walter, but he's a little far away.
That's a long
Yeah, a little
drive.
far away.
Yeah,
A long
Yeah.
drive.
We got video.
Yeah, we can do it through video or FedEx or whatever. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I was on this discussion one night and sitting there making 9mm with Barry's bullets, and I wasn't doing a full stroke. It'd been a while. Wasn't doing a full stroke, and there was about 10 that didn't have primers in them. So I said,
Yeah.
well, I'll just pull bullets. Well, I didn't realize how fragile those berries. They're full
Plated.
metal jacket, but they're plated. Okay,
Right.
and I popped one out, and it actually had a crease mark in it, and I went, oh my God, I deformed the bullet with a crimp, and is this going to be okay? Dumbass me, I loaded 50 of them, and so I loaded them up in a Glock clone I have, walked out and shot them, and they shot in 2 inches at 25 yards. I was like, okay, they're fine, but I've got some silhouette powder I'm going to try for 9mm next time.
Be careful. A little goes a long way.
Yes, I know this.
Yeah, 4.2 to 4.3 is a big jump.
But well, I'm used to unique, which unique's like an earthquake. A tenth of a grain is
A lot.
a lot. And,
Hey, you know what's wrong with unique?
You can't get
There's not enough of it
Yeah.
in the world.
I know. I swear to God, if if I shoot something with unique in it and smell the powder, I might as well. It's like me taking a blue pill. It's
Swing.
it smells so damn good. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like vargeting a rifle. I love that smell.
Aromatherapy. It is aromatherapy.
Oh my God! I just love it. It's like pork on a smoker. It's just
the first time me and my wife went shooting, I'm like, "You ready for some aromatherapy?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
She pulls the trigger and she's like, "Ah."
It's like coffee brewing and bacon frying at the same time.
You ain't wrong.
Hey man, with a side of taters and onions.
Oh man,
that's
lock
unique.
the door, baby. We're gonna bust up some furniture in here tonight.
Yeah.
Tommy
JD
boy
West.
hates unique. Oh my goodness.
Well, I'll take all you got. How about that?
That's it, Tommy. Yeah, you can hate it all you want. Cause
you just quit buying it. That's more for us.
7.5 grains of unique in a 45 Colt duplicates the original old Army load of black powder. And when you fire that thing out of a 7.5-inch Vaquero, you realize them boys had a tough time staying on target because that's a hell of a load. I mean,
they had a tough time staying on their horse and on target at the same time.
Right.
Yes, sir.
It'll torque in the special under a 240 is a nice load too.
Yep.
Right.
That's my favorite.
And
it goes 9 something in the 3-incher.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
The 7.5 with the 250 doesn't torque your hand quite as bad as the 44 special load that CW showed, which absolutely torqued you a little bit, but it does torque your hand.
Yeah,
and even out of a little heavier gun.
I like 8 grains of unique in a 255 grain bullet in my 45 Colts, but 7.5 with in the 44 special with a 429, 421. And you guys have seen me shoot. You know I shoot. I shoot about half what CW can shoot, and even I can put 6 rounds into that out there at 15 yards with that load out of my 44 Bisley Ruger. I mean, that gun loves that bullet.
When I was building my house, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of loaded 6.5 grain of unique in a 200 grain bullet, cowboy loads, just soft shooting as crap. And when my son, who was small, would get bored out here with me plumbing or framing in this or framing in that, building the house, come on, son, get some scrap wood. Let's go out here and shoot. And he would throw little pieces of wood in the air, and I would try and shoot them. Well, eventually I started hitting them. I said, don't throw them too high. Just throw them out here. I'll lead them. And eventually I started hitting them. Well, then I started letting him shoot it. And it was a little bit too much gun for him, a little heavy, but stationary targets, he was doing well with it. But he has fond memories of that. And now my son, who's earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year as a software programmer, introduced his wife to the Westerns that his dad made him watch when he was younger. And Corinne, my daughter-in-law, my lovely daughter-in-law, had never seen Rio Bravo, El Dorado. Nolan explained to her how these were the same movies made 30 years apart. And then he introduced her to the spaghetti Westerns and then some of the Clint Eastwood American Westerns, which his personal favorite was High Plains Drifter. And I said, have you done Outlaw Josie Wells yet? He said, no, dang it. I forgot about that. But I did Jeremiah Johnson. I said, good. I said, because Jeremiah Johnson and
What?
Outlaw Josey Wells has some of the best one-liners of any Western known to man.
Yeah.
You know,
Those Italians, I got to tell you, I didn't know this until about 5 years ago, but the Italian shooters are into cowboy action shooting big time. I never thought, who'd have thunk unless you watch the spaghetti westerns. But I ran into this guy who became a subscriber, and he's as Italian as they come, barely speaks English, but he goes by the SAS name of Bruce Miller. That's not anywhere close to his real name. But he's got a YouTube channel, and he sent me, he's also a leather craftsman, and he sent me just like the most gorgeous rig that I've ever seen for that single action army that Cimarron has had for a year, and they won't give it back to turkeys. But anyway, so there's the end of trail event coming up in Phoenix next month, and he and 5 of his cowboy action shooters, his whole posse, they're all coming over that. And I've never met the guy face to face, but I'm going to Phoenix, and I'm going to try to hook up with Mac Man. He lives over there, and meet these guys and have some fun. But those Italian guys, they are into cowboy action shooting and a lot of cap and ball stuff, and I never knew that. Who'd have thunk it?
Thus Uberti, thus Pieta, thus they make beautiful replicas. I want one of those 45 Colt Remington copies. Maybe even one of the conversions. They're just so cool looking.
Well, what are they? 78 and 75?
Yeah, I've got an 1875 Remington copy from them in 4440.
Yeah, I've got a nickel and a blued one.
I just want to do the pill rider thing where you pop the cylinder out.
Well, that's the black powder. That's the black powder one.
Yeah, it's a Mason Richards conversion.
Yeah.
I think that's a different one entirely.
Yeah, it is.
There's a passel of them. There's a whole passel of them.
Yeah.
But what are the Remingtons? They get the 1890 is the newer one that looks more like the Colt. The 1875 is the one with the big web in the front, and then there's the black. Is that a 78? What's the black powder one?
The black powder one, I think, is the 78.
75 Outlaw is what they call it with the
with
Cimarron.
no top strap, right?
No, the Remingtons always had a full frame.
Okay, gotcha.
That was their thing. Colts were no top strap.
Right. I always remember Robert Duvall in Open Range saying, I always liked a weapon with a little bit of heft. And he's got that Remington, and then the next scene you see him using it as a hammer.
Yeah.
Nailing the posted sign up with the butt of it. But anyway, Jamie, we're still talking straight wall. It's just gone to pistol.
Yeah, I know. But and like I said when we started, that's where most of them were originally rifle rounds that companies turned into pistol rounds. Well, they made pistols to fit the cartridge. Tommy Boy says he wants a Schofield. I do too.
Schofield's. I picked up a Schofield. I was almost going to buy it, and I sat there and handled it. Wonderful pistols, but they don't point well for me. They're totally different from a Peacemaker. Grip angle.
The sight picture sucks. Moldy Monday next Monday. I'm shooting my 45 Smith & Wesson Model 3 clone. In 45 Schofield rounds, and they just don't point that well. Like you said, that sight blade, the whole sight picture is sucky on that gun. Fun to shoot. I mean, it's just an interesting concept, that break top, but They're
We
fun.
can understand why it was a great cavalry pistol, you know.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, all those loads. You could take that revolver, pull the lever back, lay the barrel against your leg, and they'd all pop out. And now you're looking at a cylinder with all 6 holes exposed instead of one at a time,
Right.
like on the single action army. So you could drop 2, 4, 6 in there really fast, all the while you got your reins and the barrel in your hand, control your horse, unload and reload a lot faster than you could with the single action army. From
58.
horseback, anyway.
It's the 58 is the black powder. 1858 is the black powder.
Okay.
1875
All right.
is the smokeless cartridge.
Got you.
We're talking Remingtons.
We're talking about
Remington,
Remington.
revolvers. Yeah. I had to look it up.
Well, Jesse James lived in Schofield, so he must have been able to. He figured out the sight picture on that. That was one of his favorite pistols.
He liked those lightnings too, didn't he? Supposedly.
That was Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid.
Billy
Yeah.
Kid.
Jesse James.
Billy
right?
the Kid had
Billy the Kid liked the lightning.
a lightning and a thunderer, and supposedly those guns were very, very fragile.
Well, yeah, they were the first double action.
First double action.
Yeah, they weren't durable at all.
They were super fragile, but
Yep.
Billy Kid liked them. When you want to look at the Colt's real first double action, it was actually World War One. That it was durable, and like 38 long. So, I actually sold one. It was out of time. And I sold it with the caveat that this is a wall hanger, but I'm asking 400 because of what it is. And, the guy bought it and I was like, don't try and shoot 38 special in that. Okay. Just cause it says 38, I said, that's a wall hanger. I'm telling you. And it's almost like I was trying to talk him out of buying it, but he was bound and determined to buy it. I understand, Mike. Okay. I said, well, just hang it up on the wall. Don't shoot it unless you get actual ammunition. And this thing is so out of time that, it's going to shave lead, and whoever's standing beside you is going to be hurting, but it was an old gun, old revolver. At least I was honest about it, but it was a good representation of the time.
So the name of Curtis's brother's book is An Operator's Guide.
What
A field manual for men.
What branch of service was Curtis's brother in?
It's the Special Forces Army, I think.
Okay, Green Beret, Delta. Yeah. Probably a good book.
Might be World War II.
75th Ranger Regiment.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
Except for the sit-ups and push-ups, probably a good book.
Oh, you get used to it.
No, not at 60 years old, Kyle.
No.
You don't,
Not at 50 either.
Yeah, right.
I was used to it a long time ago.
I'll work up a sweat watching you. Yeah, go ahead. Give me 50. I'll sweat.
I ain't scared of exercise. I can sit there and watch it all damn day.
I can fall asleep next to it. Yeah. Well, a lot of guys getting back to straight wall, though, a lot of guys they buy a 6.5 Creedmoor and they don't recognize the Creedmoor name and what Creedmoor really meant. And that was a long range shooting contest up in upstate New York, if I remember right. And guys would lay on their back, rest the rifle on their knee, and shoot at 1,000 yards with cartridges like 4570. And people say, well, 4570 is a good brush gun. Well, no, but there's people shot it at 1,000 yards. You know,
A lot of brush.
yeah, there ain't a lot of brush 45 feet up in the air.
Right.
Because that's how far they're arcing that bastard. You know, I mean, it.
Yeah.
But that's where that Creedmoor name comes from. You know, to a 20-something, it just sounds cool. So I try to give credit where credit's due. I try to educate people. I know 20-somethings kind of roll their eyes up at me. I ask my son-in-law all the time. I said, do I get too preachy? He went, yeah, you do, but you're preaching the gospel. As far as shooting is concerned, I was like, okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hillbilly, you all right up there? Any straight wall cartridges you want to talk about, man?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing good, buddy. Just enjoying listening to everybody. I don't know. I guess it's one that's popped off my head, you know, that I've shot or whatever. It's like 350 Legend, 4570, and, you know, 44. You know, it was one that I was thinking, you know, just off the top of my head. Nothing real special or anything.
Don't forget the mighty 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
That's a straight wall cartridge from a long way back. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Remember 450 Bushmaster was listed on the video clip that we watched, and the 400 Legend. CW brought his when we got together in July, which
Oh
we're
my
probably
God.
we're going to try to do that again. I hope everybody can come.
I'll have vacation time by then.
You coming up this way, Kyle?
If we can plan a get together, yeah, I'll have, like I say, I'll have vacation time.
I'll absolutely host you. You know, we had a great time. We had a great time.
I'll appreciate the heck out of that, sir.
Yeah, we had a great time. I was sick as hell, but Jamie and CW wasn't, and Uncle Bob wasn't, and I enjoyed Uncle Bob immensely. I mean, immensely. It just, his enthusiasm in my shot, everything he looked at was, he wanted. I think he would have bought the whole shop if he had a checkbook for it, wouldn't he, CW?
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh
Sure
my
would.
God, oh my God, oh my God!" Every gun he went to was just fantastic.
I think that's about all of us. We'd buy the
That's the only time I've ever spent with him, and
Me too. I loved it too.
love that dude.
And what I loved too was CW showed up early, and I got to stash him back behind the counter. And when Jamie came in, he had no idea CW was going to be there. That was great. It was absolutely fantastic.
That was funny.
It
Jamie-
was, but except for we're talking about long wall cartridges.
Well, we shot some there. Okay. All right.
Well, Tommy Boy says the 360 buck hammer and the 400 Legend have me intrigued. I agree that 360 buck hammer is intriguing. And,
I actually bought some ammunition for a guy that has a 360 buck hammer, and I was reading ballistics on it. It is intriguing, very intriguing.
yeah,
It's a true 358, is it not, CW?
It's a true 35 rem.
Yeah.
It
It's
doesn't
a
reach 358.
358. Yeah.
It's 358 diameter, but it doesn't reach 358 wind ballistics.
No. I didn't figure
But
it would.
it's a true 358, unlike the 350.
Right.
Absolutely, Tommy boy.
Yep.
He likes it both low pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that buck hammer is intriguing because I have so many 38, 357 bullet molds. So,
Well, I got to give the guy a hard time because he's young and real macho. And I said, I got you your 360 butt hammers. And he was like, what? And, I got to give him a hard time. But just because it's new.
by the way, something we need to talk about, and I hope that Hillbilly and Bama Dad be interested in this as well. We're talking about 444 Marlin and the 360 buck hammer. I'm assuming most all of them. I'm going to get some kickback from this, I know, but the Rossi are making lever action 444 Marlins, and you can buy them on Bud's Gun Shop. And CVA Scout has a brake action single shot in 444 Marlin with a 22-inch barrel. Either one of those, if you wanted to get in 44 Marlin, would be 444 Marlin would be an alternative.
Why are you going to get kickback? The Rossies are
Because they're
fantastic.
Rossi. But I'm telling you guys,
they're fantastic.
They're identical clones to the Marlin 336s. They're identical. Yep. I've had them apart. I've worked on them.
They're also identical clones to the 92s, the pistol cartridges.
They're close. They're not identical. The frames are different.
Yeah, they're close.
Yeah, they're real close. But
I've got
a change though.
I got a 45 Colt that shoots like lights out. I mean, just lights out. And I'm very, very pleased. They're not cheap anymore at all. But they're cheaper than a Marlin.
Yeah, they are. Tommy boy, when you get that CVA Scout, let me know how you like that rifle, because I'm thinking about one of those in 350 and 444 as well. Maybe even a 35 Wayland.
Woo!
I love that 35 caliber stuff, guys. It's just.
I think that guy sitting next to you likes him too. He's been a 35 guy since I've known him.
Thanks, Tommy boy.
I got a few 35s.
Yep.
All right, so we're 1 minute away from the verse of the week. Y'all want to go ahead and get started?
Let's do it. That's why I'm here.
Let's do it.
We're still in Psalms chapter 2, and kind of a little bit controversial here, as we've Walter got ahead of me and read some of the stuff that's and later in the chapter. Let's first go through. Let's review a little bit from last week, since this is a two-parter. So last week we talked about verses 1 through 3. Let's look at those. Why do the nations rage and the people plot vain things? The kings of the earth have set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, verse 3, let us break their bonds in pieces and cast away their cords from us. We talked about the key points were nations. When it says nations there in verse 1, let me back that up. we're talking about Gentiles, all people groups that are not Israel. The kings of the earth set themselves up and they plot together against God and his anointed, and they see God's commands as bondage, tying them down. Why? Because they worship themselves and expect their subjects to also. All right, so verse 4 and 5, let's read through these. He who sits in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall hold them in derision. Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and distress them in his deep displeasure. Verse 6 is a quote straight from God. I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. All right. The previous verse, verse 3, tells us that the kings of the earth are rebelling against God and his anointed. MacArthur, which I like to tell you, I like to read y'all MacArthur's note. He has no notes on verse 4, but he covers both verses in verse 5, and we'll get to that here in a minute. And my mind thinks of God's laughter as kind of a chuckle, like, what really? Like, he who sits in the heavens shall laugh. Think about that. He who sits in the heavens shall laugh. Like, really? Do you really think you? Anyway, Guzik there says, God looks at the way man plots against him and he laughs. God isn't afraid or confused or depressed. God laughs at it. End of quote. And I wrote, consider the Tower of Babel and many other stories in the Bible. Anytime man tries to go against God, it doesn't end well for man. Never has and never will. Guzik there continues, God laughs because he sits in the heavens. It isn't an earthly throne he occupies. It is the throne of heaven with authority over all creation. What does heaven have to fear from earth? End of quote. The Lord shall hold them in derision. All through history, many have opposed God and his kingdom. Each one shall be frustrated and crushed. Guzik goes on to write about Diocletian, the Roman emperor from 284 to 305 AD, and how he erected monuments to himself. One boasted of his extension of the Roman Empire, and quote unquote, this is his own quote on his own statue, says, extinguished the name of Christians. The second one, having, I quote here, having everywhere abolished the superstition of Christ and have extended worship of the gods. So he's crushed the superstition of Christ and extended worship of the gods. Diocletian is dead and gone, and most of you have never heard of him, while the entire world knows God in Christ Jesus. Verse 5 says, then he shall speak to them in his wrath and distress them in his deep displeasure. MacArthur there writes, after mocking them with the laughter of divine contempt, God speaks and acts from his perfectly balanced anger. And I've explained how I view God's laughter, and it's quite a bit different than what Mac writes here. But who am I to disagree with John MacArthur? But I would point out here that we're talking about nations and not individuals. We're certainly not talking about believers. I can't imagine holy God mockingly laughing at his own people. MacArthur says he speaks and acts from his perfectly balanced anger. That makes me think of Hebrews 10:31, where it says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. And I know that's out of context, but that's what popped in my mind at the time. Guzik there on verse 5 writes, God laughs in heaven, but he doesn't remain inactive. He laughs, but he doesn't only laugh. Before he acts against defiant mankind, he first speaks to rebellious humanity, end quote. And that reminds me of Jonah. Remember how Jonah, God told him to go and speak to one group of people, and he ran away as far away from them as he could. He ran away from God, and he got swallowed up by the fish, right? So Guzik again there, he says, this shows the great mercy of God. He has every right to simply act against defiant men. Love and mercy compel God to speak a word of warning before he acts. And this is demonstrated repeatedly throughout the prophets. Over and over we read where God's fixing to do this or that or the other thing, but he always sends a prophet to warn the people, just like he sent Jonah. Verse 6 there. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. MacArthur writes that I have set their puny challenge from verse 3 is answered by this powerful pronouncement. It's as good as done. His king will be enthroned, and Jerusalem's on Jerusalem's most prominent hill. Any people who would rage against God, that rage is totally a puny challenge. Max says it's a sure thing. Once God has pronounced it, his king will reign in Jerusalem. Christian Bible scholars, and maybe Jewish ones too, Walks might can fill us in on this. They refer to this as a quote-unquote type, T-Y-P-E. A type is when one prophecy has two or more fulfillments. The first fulfillment was when David was king of Israel. The kingdom was united. David ruled from Jerusalem. The second fulfillment will be when Messiah reigns from Jerusalem. Christians believe this will be at Jesus' second coming. And I think Jews believe it will be their Messiah's reign. This brings up another point. As believers, please let us focus on the things that unite us and not divide us. When we're arguing about stuff like this, the devil is happy. The enemy is happy. Guzik there about verse 6 writes, God wants defiant mankind to know that he has established a king. The defiant men closest in view in the Psalms are kings and rulers, and God especially wants them to know there's a king greater than they are. God's king is established. He is set. The established in Jerusalem on Mount Zion. David defeated all the opposition during his reign as king. God established his king. Remember, God says, vengeance is mine, I will repay. And there's another king coming. And that's what makes that prophecy a type, because it has two fulfillments, both near and far. Questions or comments? Wow. That took 10 minutes of your life you will never get back. And we had 31 comments in 10 minutes.
No, you'll get it all back if you think about it.
Do what?
I said, no, you'll get those minutes back. You walk outside in the morning and see the sun and the green side of the grass, you've just got it back. But
Amen.
This is actually a powerful psalm. It starts off talking not in mild terms. He's saying, let's take these raging heathens and tear their gangs apart and throw them not just to the ground, let's throw them away. David keeps on going. And he says, and when we're doing that, those that have made it to heaven, we're going to sit up on God's side and we're going to laugh at those people. We're not just going to turn, our heads around, look the other. We're going to look down and laugh at them. So, that's another kind of straighten up and fly right, people. That's this is the real deal here. It's not good to go against the word of God.
Nope. But yet, don't you think though that's God being merciful and loving when He actually sends you a warning before He just wipes you off the face of the map like He could so easily do?
Oh, most definitely, and it happens all throughout the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. And there's a lot in Psalms, that it was written by more than just David, but they're worth reading. There's a good message in every one of those, and most of them do have to do with, that we believe in a merciful God. He's going to give us a chance. He's not going to give us unlimited chances. But there's a warning and a prophecy and a way out. If you're walking down the wrong path and you're deep dark in the forest and you're so far down in that you can't see the light, He's always got a way for you to, another path you can take. He's not going
to give you unlimited chances or a free pass.
Right. Take the next fork in the road where you can see the light, and we'll lead you into the sunlight.
Yeah, read Jonah.
Yeah. Yep.
It explains it very well, this whole concept.
What?
Go ahead, Hillbilly.
Oh, I just listened. Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. Yeah, some good verses there, man. A lot to think about.
Thank you, Walks. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, bull. You always have a chance until you don't.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
But
speaking of that, Chance, I don't know if you guys, if I missed it or something, but the guy that wrote all the cartoon strips for
Dilbert.
He accepted Christ just a few days before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
there's Kentucky Firearms. Welcome in here, dude. So yeah, Tommy Boy wants to know, does anybody have a list of Kramer mold numbers?
No, I don't. I've only got maybe a half a dozen Kramer molds, and I've looked for a list and could never find one. It seems to me I saw something once over on Cast Bullets.
I think so
Forums.
too, but
It might be there, but it wasn't very complete. And then, Seiko, Redding took them over, and a lot of their molds are the same, but with completely different numbering systems. So I don't know. I wish I did have one. They were good molds, Kramer. They were made out of that mehanite iron, and they always cast well. The ones that I have, anyway.
I'm not familiar with them at all.
they were popular for nose pours, weren't they? They made a few nose pours.
Well, none of the ones that I have are, but again, I don't have that many of them. So, and I don't know, I don't profess
both
to
of
know
mine
very much about them. Are they?
Both of mine are nose pours.
Bull says MP is the new Kramer.
I don't know about that. I like MP. For those of you guys who are out there who have MP molds, did anybody notice whether they've started shipping to the U.S. again yet or not? They quit
I
shipping.
think so. I think they have. Yeah, I've been hearing the guys talk about it.
If you want hollow point molds, you go to MP. I think theirs are better than anybody else's.
I agree.
At least for the casting part of it. Maybe the designs and such. If you've got a particular design that you've got to have, and it was only made by Lyman or somebody, then or NOE or whatever. But I like what Mihud does with his hollow point molds.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best next to the custom.
Yeah.
Those custom ones that what's his name makes there. Greg, I think his name is what. Anyway, those are, but they're also even more expensive than the MPs.
Yeah. Well, MPs weren't all that bad for a while. He had some really good sales last year.
Yeah, I picked up a couple too. Yeah.
Almost like he knew those tariffs were coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had pretty hefty discounts. And I only did this once, and I shouldn't even admit to it, but I think the break point was like $300 worth of molds, and he'd ship them free. But his shipping was pretty inexpensive, and it was like $20, and they'd be here in just a matter of days from Slovenia. It was incredible.
Yeah, you could order at the same time. I could order one from not Al, NOE.
NOE, that's Al, yeah.
That's how. Yeah.
And order the same time one from M&P. The one from Slovakia would beat the one from Utah here.
Yeah, I know.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was just strange. But I love his molds. I think I've got like 20 of them or something. I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, most of mine. I think all of mine are brass too.
I got one or two that were aluminum, but most of them are brass. And there's just something about casting a brass, a well-made brass mold.
It's special.
Yeah, it's heavy, but golly, man. Yeah, I plan to order quite a few more from him over the years. Actually, when I get retired and I'm able to actually go to the casting pot.
Yeah.
I got a feeling once I'm retired, I'm gonna have to get a better pot. I've been using that same Lee 420 since I've been casting.
Well, don't poo-poo that Lee 420. So it leaks a little bit. You put an ingot mold underneath it and let her drip. It's still for the price point. It's a good one, and if you can put a PID in it if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, stick a thermometer in it once in a while.
And that's all that's wrong with it, Walter.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that you can fuss about them is they leak, they drip.
And I got past that a long time ago with mine. I said, okay, it's gonna leak. It's like, okay, my shoes are gonna come untied once in a while. I'll just reach down, tie them again. It's still for the money. You look at the RCBS pot now, the new one with the built-in PID. It's this many simoleons. Time you get it to your doorstep.
Holy Lord, are you serious?
Yes, sir. Because it's a heavy piece of equipment, and they're going to charge you $30 or something to ship it, and it's $400+.
So the $79 for the 420 pot's just not that bad, huh?
It ain't that bad a deal.
it ain't that cheap anymore either.
No, they're over $100, I think now. But yeah. But someday, I won't lie to you. I like my RCBS, Pro Melt too. It's a great pot. It runs. It don't drip, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes. I drain it every once in a while, clean it all out, and keep it on going. And mine has never dripped a drop, ever.
Wow.
My Lyman pot does, and my lead pot does.
Mine drips, but it's not excessive.
And then
but it depends on the alloy. I get a little too much tin in there.
You get them tinny, and they're going to
clean it out. Clean it out once in a while.
Yep.
And yeah, a lot of guys love those Lees. I love mine, man. It's the only, like I said, it's the only one I've ever had
Yeah.
that I've ever used.
Well,
I
you
got-
could be like
I
me.
think
and
I got
look
about
pink in
all of them. I've got a Redding. I've got an old Lyman. I've got a newer Lyman. I've got a RCBS. I've got I got a couple Lees. I don't have a 20, but I got a 10 and I got a bottom. I got a scooper.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they all work fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one of I got a little lead that I use for salt annealing.
There you go. Yeah. My Lee pot now is relegated to just pure lead for what's turning out to be the rare occasion that I'm going to go shoot cap and ball. I just haven't found the time to spend much time with that, but I've got that one just set up with nothing but lead in it. And I mean, it's nice, boys, when you can retire, as soon as you can pull it off, go for it. Because you
my
got
little-
less money to
little-
spend commuting to work and stuff. But I've got 4 or 5 pots set up on my casting cart there, and
Yeah.
one of them is the Lee 420, and that one just does the pure lead, and I've got another one that's doing 1 to 20, and
My
another one
10-pound Lee had lead in it. I think probably for 30 years.
Yeah.
It's been pure lead forever. That's all I ever do with it.
Yep.
It was always
Yep.
my casting for black powder, pure balls.
Yep.
And I've just kept it that way because I've got like 5 other pots,
Even if you mess it up like I did before I got a PID that Willie built, or a lead thermometer or anything like that, and you just throw your wheel weights in there and go for it, and you end up getting zinc in there, you can clean them up. I actually bought a whole nother 420 pot because I didn't know if I could recover this one, and I'm still using the same one.
parts are easily obtainable. They're easy to fix up. If you need a new thermostat or a new heating element or whatever, you can get all that stuff from Lee. That's just
Yeah.
or you can go get a little old cast iron pot and a dipper and do it that way for next to nothing.
As long as you got a good Goodwill store next to you.
There you go.
Tommy boy, my wife would kill me there and a half.
Oh, Lord, had it on for a week. Oh,
That's because it all dripped out in the first 2 hours, Tommy boy. You had a big old lead sickle hanging down underneath it. I know you did. Don't lie.
No, man. He said those newer Lee pots don't leak anything like the old ones did.
That'll be darned.
So now it's making me want to buy a brand new Lee. And
I got a really old one then.
I'm like Kyle. I got a Willie PID. Let's go through the room, clear the deck
Let's
for
do it.
Kentucky Rimfire. And Walter, you want to start?
I'll start. I got Moldy Monday coming up on the Rumble channel. That Rumble channel of mine I've got like 1,200 subscribers over there right now. They're doing pretty good over there. And then we got another Wadcutter Wednesday coming up, of course, and probably a Free the Few Friday. I got to get rid of some of those cast bullets up on that shelf. I've got 200 pounds of cast bullets and little.
Wait, is that bad? Is that a
You
bad
got
thing?
my address, sir.
Well, they're all like 25 in one can and 30 in another and stuff. And I need to make room so I can go cast more. You know how that goes. So I got new molds coming in. So,
Why not just make a bigger rack?
yeah, I'm out of room. Anyway, I have to buy another cart. Anyhow, so yeah, we got that going on, and we'll have Saturday shots coming up. So got quite a bit of video coming up. I'm going to range Monday. I've got a new one for the next week's Moldy Monday that I'm going to do. 454 485, which is the 454 190 with a gas check, and I traditionally lube that, so I'm going to go shoot that out of the Bisley Vaquero on Monday. So I'm going to have fun with that. So that's kind of what we got going on. A couple of day outings with friends and so forth. So it's going to be a good week here at Central Coast of California. Let's go upstairs. Who wants to go next? Bama, how about you? What do you got? Let's go, Bama.
I don't have a whole lot. Working on some renovations to the reloading room, and that's about it.
Video it or it didn't happen.
No. We had some high winds, and I had piece of sheetrock come off the ceiling, so I've got to redo that. But other than that, I don't have anything else. What about you, Rebel?
Well, one of my business partners, Trent, bought a 260 Ackley custom from a customer. Same customer I bought a 260 Ackley from. The guy builds 260 Ackleys. He'll shoot them a little bit, get tired of it, sell them, then build a new 260 Ackley. You know, it's weird, but Trent's got into. He bought a 21st century neck turning lathe, which I'm glad of because I didn't want to buy one. Now I got a friend that'll turn necks for my PPC. But this is a 260 Ackley. This is fire formed or reloaded. Is that all a good looking cartridge? I mean,
Absolutely.
Basically, that's a 6.5 Creedmoor on steroids. I've shot that 1,000 yards. It does really, really good. Oh, you got me blowed up, Jamie. Well, okay.
Here you go. There you go. Show it to us again.
That 40-degree shoulder.
I like it. I like it.
On a 308 case, which this is, you only get about technically 2% improvement. A lot of people say, "Oh, you can get 5%." Well, if you're using Hornady brass, you find out real quick that 5% ain't the way to go because you're gonna blow them primers in about 2 shots. Lapua. I've got some alpha brass. I've never tried alpha brass. This stuff looks fantastic. Me and Trent split 100 alpha brass, and they say to be really, really careful working up to max because the brass is thicker and it's not going to show pressure signs like normal brass. So I'm going to fire form it with a normal load and just a minimum 260 load, fire form it. And I've tried the fire forming with grits and fire forming with different things and just for fun. And it doesn't work like just regular shooting with high pressure. So I'll probably do it with a cheaper bullet, minimum loads, and then go from there. But Trent's got one, I got one now, and I told him, I said, "Dude, that's a legitimate 1,000-yard cartridge." I said, "Look. I did a JBM ballistics chart for him. I said it's not approaching transonic anywhere near the 1,000-yard mark. It's still 1,600. You're good." And Trent's joining Hawks Ridge, which is a local, not a local, but it's about an hour from me. 1,000-yard range. A lot of records have been set there. And I said, "Well, I hadn't joined, so talk to me about guest arrangements." And we'll see what happens. You know, it seems pretty loose there. You shoot over. It's up in North Wilkesboro, up in a community called Boomer in North Carolina in the mountains. You shoot over chicken houses. They have to clear the cows out of the way, before you shoot at 1,000. They'll go out there and clear out the cows. And they got a lot of steel. They're doing a lot of PRS. They drifted away from IBS. So there'll be no more IBS records set there. They're in a different, there's a different rating now that it's very similar to IBS. The targets are a little different. I don't know. Little squabble there in the precision shooting community, but a lot of neat stuff happens there. World records have been shot there, several. The IBS 1,000-yard group record was shot there by Mike Wilson out of Georgia. I'm not sure, Jamie, what part of Georgia he's from. I think he's in your neck of the woods. You might want to look him up. But he shot his own. He shot his own 6 BRA reamer, which I suspect it was close to a 6 dasher. But he shot a 1.14 5-shot group at 1,000 yards, and that is yet to be touched. Has yet to be touched.
Yeah, that's a tenth of an MOA.
Yeah, it's a 16th. Really, if you compute it, it's a tenth of a mil. It's a 16th of an MOA out to 1,000. It's awesome, awesome group, and that was done 4 or 5 years ago, and it's yet to be beat. I've got a good friend that built my first custom rifle, who held the 1,000-yard world record at Hawks Ridge with a 6.5 284 for 7 years. 7 years, and it was 3-point-something inches. And when that got broke, it seemed like that record got shattered. That record got shattered. That record got shattered. Then Mike Wilson shoots that group, and then they ain't been nothing else to touch it since.
Did your Krieghoff come yet?
My Krieger?
Yeah.
No, it's not due till February. When it is, the amount of stuff I handed to the guy that's building my gun, who's a good friend. He's not the guy that built my BR, who's a wonderful gunsmith. This he's smart. He's a good guy. You going, Walter? You going, bye-bye? See ya. He's going to build this rifle, and I handed him a jewel trigger and 2 or 3 PTG bolts. I said, here, I figure you use those. And he looked at that. He said, hell, if you're going to hand me this, I'm going to blueprint your action. So he's already matched the recoil lug and blueprinted it to the action. And he showed me how he does that. As far as the lapping the lugs and making everything right. So I hope this little triple deuce that I'm building is really going to shoot. It's going to be a fun rifle, no doubt. People say, why are you doing that with a triple deuce? I was like, well, it was a classic Ventress cartridge back in the 60s, and it's just nice. It's not loud. It didn't pop like a 223. It's accurate out to 300. It's a great little varmint round. I hunt a lot of varmints, so it's going to be a cool rifle when I get it done. But I ordered what CW was talking about. I ordered a Krieger barrel for it, and I wanted to cut rifling. Excalibur had a lot of sales. I've done one Excalibur barrel. They're hit or miss. I'll be honest with you. They're hit or miss. Whether you get a good one or a dog, And so I didn't want a button rifle barrel. I wanted a cut rifle barrel. So that narrowed down my search, and pretty much Brooks, Bartland, They are 12 months out. Krieger was 4 months out. And Douglas, which is button rifle, which those I'm not throwing any shade on Douglas. Douglas barrels are great. Douglas was they went up on their prices. So for $50 more, I could get a Krieger. So why not get a Krieger? Why not get a cut rifle barrel? So I ordered what I wanted, which was it's not going to be a bull barrel. It's going to be a Magnum Contour Remington. It's going in a thumb hole stock on a Model 7 action. And it's going to be a sweet little build. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Good deal. Thanks for being here, man. Yeah. Kyle, you been yet?
I'm here.
You already went?
No, I'm quick and easy. I got to meet up with Rollis Carvelis. He's not been in the side chat for a minute. I guess he's busy. He gave me a little bit of something, and I gave him a little bit of something, and I might put my first YouTube video up in almost a year on it.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Well, if I can figure out how to post it. Anyway, that's it for me. Go ahead, CW.
Well, I've got a whole passel of videos because I've been to the range like 3 times the past week. So I got all those queued up. I'm into March with videos. So I got a good head of steam ahead of me. Yeah, I got some more things planned. Dropped that 1022 video. I'm getting a lot of traction over there and a lot of help. And I kind of feel guilty because that was filmed a month and a half ago. So those problems are solved and fixed, and I just posting the videos. So everybody's trying to help me, and it's like I really appreciate it. And a lot of people were spot on because that's what I found, what they told me. So it's good to know that the viewers are there and spot on right. So it's it's still pretty fun. But I wish I could better appreciate their help. But hey, I make these videos and it takes time to get them posted. So it's they're old news for me. They're new for everybody else.
Bless y'all's heart. Y'all work hard at that.
But yeah, lots of good stuff going on. I'm having a ball with this JDJ. I'm having a ball with the PRC. I snuck in a new video on that 160 grain round nose. That was just done the other day. I stuck that one in between everything else because it was so much fun. And more coming. A whole lot more coming. So
all right, guys, we got to clear up out
yeah,
here.
we're going really long. Somebody got long-winded.
Yeah. We ain't calling no names, but
Kiss my butt.
Let's do this.
Damn it, Bama.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. We hope the Lord blesses y'all all real good. We love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. And if he's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock.